Hey, greetings. What's up, family? This is your brother King Simon back in the building from King Simon Productions. Please share this video because we're speaking about don't waste time. Work with time, don't waste time. And sometimes we get a kind of lazy in doing what we got to do. And yes, the body does uh, warn you and tells you to take a rest when it's time. But remember, it's not about wasting. The universe or this whole universal thing does not waste things. It doesn't waste. We in this existence has become the worst waster of food, the waste of energy, the waste of a lot of things. But in actuality, nothing is wasted. But because we're in this realm and we think that we can waste time, some of us do waste a lot of time, either doing nothing or doing reckless things that's going to cause problems for themselves later on in life. So this one is called the Numerovation. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. And it's important because I've been thinking about it and wondering when I was going to do this portion of it. And I want to make sure that I'm saying it correctly because I did develop the flyer for it. So it's very important that we recognize that time in this realm is needed and should be used in a mathematical way, strategic way, and it should be used to help yourself and others and guide yourself and others to be the very best. So this is called work with time, don't waste time. Work with time, don't waste time. That's the title of this particular broadcast. I'd like to thank you. Just remember, go to my Instagram. Join me on Instagram. That's King Simon Productions on Instagram, or go to Numerovation or Numeroversity on Instagram. You can check that out where you get all your Numeroversity because I do have a Numeroversity and I am creating an online Numeroversity where I will be producing at least 10 different videos where you can actually pay for. And I will definitely mail you the link. I will produce it in a fashion like this, sometimes in front of a chalkboard, expressing and explaining how to use the numbers and how to keep yourself motivated even when you feel down, how to keep your children motivated, how to keep your parents motivated, how to keep your friends motivated. And usually, at the end of the day, we are all our own saviors. There's nobody saving you. I remember when I was 15 or 16, and I was getting into a lot of trouble hanging out with friends, being a follower when being a number one, I was supposed to be a leader. I was trying to satisfy other people because of peer pressure and whatever's going on at that time. I'm trying to join the crowd and be friends. And I'm getting into a lot of trouble. Didn't get arrested, but doing the little minute crimes and the little juvenile stuff. And I remember sitting with my Cancerian cousin. She's a Cancer, born July the 12th. Love you, Shireen. She's out of Montreal, Canada. Those who might know her or know of her, she runs the Native New Yorker modeling agency first, but now she runs the Native New Yorker agency where she books actors and actresses. She is one of the first quote unquote Canadian, Afro Canadian person, sister that ran her own booking agent for models and also for actors in the industry. So a lot of her actors have been in movies like Snake Eye, Matrix, John Q. So she booked actors and actresses. Either you are in the Union of Canada or you're using. She was she. I'm just explaining that, or she booked extras for movies like that. So I'm speaking about her because I remember sitting at my mother's table at the age of 15 or 16 years of age and telling her, and I said to her specifically, if I don't leave this neighborhood, if I don't leave this neighborhood, I'm either going to be in jail or end up dead, because I was wasting my time doing the foolishness on the streets with other brothers at that time who were also creating an atmosphere where I can do it, dealing with weapons and all that kind of stuff, and smoking the marijuana and doing all that kind of stuff and wasting my time. Although each one of those uh, time wasters was a lesson and a blessing to me, I was wasting my time when I should have been doing leadership development things, being that I understand now that I understand that I was a number one frequency and energy, and that my 3158 central frequency energy really told me what I needed to do, but I wasn't studying it that at that time. I understood basically about what it was through the 5% nation, the nation of gods and earth, because I did become part of the 5% nation back at the age of 14. But then I started seeing a lot of different contradictory things in the 5% nation. So I left it alone after 15 or 16, still holding the knowledge of who is the original man, and the circumference of the earth and all that, still holding that knowledge. But if I'm the type of person that if there is a higher knowledge, if this is a higher knowledge, then you're supposed to be doing higher things. You're not supposed to be into drugs or into gambling and then talking about mastering the cards or mastering the dice game, and talking a lot of stuff and drinking liquors and looking outright crazy. Because if you have already mastered it, you don't need to go back to it. And maybe that's what Father Allah promoted. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't say that, but I do respect the knowledge and wisdom of the 5% nation for what it stood for and how it guided us mathematically and helped a young man at 14, my age, to think on a mathematical level. It's a form of numerology that wasn't called numerology at the time, although numerology existed. But when you start doing breaking down, one is for knowledge, two is for wisdom, three is for understanding, and so on and so forth, it is a form of numerology. And the word numerology is still Greek or in the language or whatever etymology that it comes from. But we, as original people, have been using those type of mathematics to understand not just the circumference of the earth or distance between here and Africa and all that kind of stuff, but we've been using it also as guiding methodologies for our people. And they were called higher sciences or higher sciences of guidance, or magic or alchemy in some form or fashion, whatever it was called. It wasn't under these Greek and Roman names, put it like that. And I'm going to find it. I mean, I know the word numbers is under something in the Kemetic language and certain African language, but I'm studying a book called Africa Counts. And I want to thank people like Lloyd Strayhorn, who introduced me to that book. But it goes back to ancient counting systems prior to what the Europeans have taken and stolen and recreated and redistributed for themselves and claimed them as the father of this and the father of that. After those same so-called fathers, went, traveled to the darker hue nation and came back. They was moving like missionary and military. That's what it was. Missionaries and military. They was rolling together. The missionaries acting like they're coming for the spiritual guidance to give to the ancient people. But the military was there to back them just in case there was any bullcrap that happened. And sometimes they had to there was casualties, put it like that. There was casualties. But getting back to the point, because I'm getting off the point, and I don't like doing that. But it gives you the story. Um, like I said, I told my cousin that it was time for me to go, or something was gonna happen. So I already inside of me, my time clock, my natural, innate, intuitive time clock, before understanding numbers and how numerology or astrology reveals the seasons and times and cycles that you're in, my natural time clock said, hey, stop playing. I'm sure I told her at the age of at 15, going into 16, because 15 was one of those, in numerology, 15 is one of my challenge cycles. But just knowing that the 1 and 5 equals 6 is one of my challenge cycles. So obviously, I was challenging my mind, because every time I did something that was out of the norm, as far as being the positive person that I always been, I knew it was wrong to do. So my own time clock made me recognize that it was wrong to do. You know what I'm saying? And even when one of my friends, who was born on the 18th, number 9, he always had weapons, in which, we all, if you study numerology or study any form of that numerology, you understand that 9 is connected to weapons and guns and all that kind of stuff. Adventure, you might find number 9s love extreme adventure movies, or extreme movies with a lot of shooting and all that, because the 9 energy is appealing to that. They attract that. So he always carried the gun, or he'll hold it off to me, because I was the shortest, and I was the youngest, and I was the fastest as far as running. I was a fast runner. So I told my cousin, hey, and I looked at her with tears in my eyes. And this is my cousin in Canada. She came to visit us in New York, and I said, hey, if I don't leave here, either I'm going to end up in jail or end up dead. That was it. That's before I had children, before I had anything and all that. That's it. So I made my decision. I saved myself, because I learned to save the time that I was going to, understood the time and where I had to go with it. I understood that my time clock was over in hanging out with those type of people. That's why I say, don't waste time. Don't waste time. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste time. And if you're out there wasting time and don't understand what you need to do and how you need to do things for yourself or for your family and all that type of stuff, it's time for you to wake up. This is the time and season that we're in, to wake up and smell the natural tea, the organic tea. And it's all right to smell it. It's all right to take time for yourself to learn more about yourself. So work with time and don't work against time. It's real talk. Work with time and don't work against time, because many of us are working against time. Although everything is what we call synchronicity, but you can synchronize yourself in the most positive and productive fashion, other than synchronizing yourself with the most unproductive and obstructive fashion. So using numerology or numerovation, or what I dub it, because numerovation is, like I said, is a hybrid form of numerology that's here to help motivate you to take you to the next level, help guide you to the next level, to let you know that all is not lost. There is some hope. I don't care what's going on in the world is still here. How many times have they been talking about the destruction of this? This is going to be blown up. The FEMA camps are coming, and all that kind of craziness. They don't want that to happen. That would stop their money. They don't want that to happen. It will stop the finance. Yes, there's going to be casualties of wars. It's in your amendment. If you go against the law or their laws, then they will put you back into whatever slavery, whatever form of slavery. They're going to put you back in, paying you 10 cents a day. It's there. But it's because you waste time. That's why people are in the prison system. That's why because we waste time not learning and understanding the law. They always say ignorance of the law is no excuse. I've heard the Moors say it. I've heard lawyers say it. I've heard, people that magistrates say it. Ignorance of a law is no excuse. Real talk. So, but there is a law of time. And some of us, like I said, is wasting it. That's why you have to learn to use it to your benefit. So remember, my book, Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated, are out there. Of course, you see, I'm in the background. You see Dr. Africa and Lyle Africa and his wife, the old pictures, because I'm at their house. And of course, he's my Dr. Charles Child Publishing. Dr. Lyle Africa is the publisher of this book. They're my publishers. Also, the publishers of my children's book. So I'm saying this not really to get down and dirty with the numbers and show it, but there is a duality in whatever you do. So synchronicity can be, you can be synchronized into doing the BS that's going to teach you the lesson or take you out of here, or you could be in synchronicity with doing the right thing, the constructive thing that's going to keep you in play and what you have to do. No doubt there's people that has been in sync with the positiveness and the constructiveness of life, and yes, has been taken out, has become casualties. But it's when that person is taken out or when that person is harmed, it's a lesson to the surrounding people and individuals around them that it's a domino effect. It's just like when one of my friends got killed in Florida when we were young because he was hustling and doing his thing. And, he was a number six. A friend of ours, Kelby Carter, was a good friend of ours. He used to live on Caton. Snyder, no, he used to live on Snyder. He used to live on Snyder off of New York Ave. And he went down to Florida doing his thing after he grown up and doing his thing, and he got taken out, but he was still in that thing. He was in another time warp and another mentality he was in. But even those that are in the drug game and then the gun game and all that kind of stuff, you're really wasting time. Some of you make it out, some of you don't. But I pray that if you are doing that and that's what you need to do, if you feel you need to do that, make sure you raise somebody else up. Because sometimes people are complacent, they stay where they at, and that's what they want to do, hustle and do what they got to do. Cool. Look, I'm not gonna argue with you. That's not my premise. I respect all of you that are trying to feed your family in any way you can and don't feel you have a way out. But that's not true. We do have a way out. We do have another means. So if you're doing the negative or what seems to be negative in our community, then it's your job to raise them up. That's why the old quote unquote gangs or organizations used to protect the community. They wasn't fighting the community. The original Jolly Stompers and the original bishops and those people wasn't fighting. They was helping to protect a lot of the community. The original Crips or the original Bloods was protecting the community. Now, I'm not going to say I know that culture. I don't know that culture, but I know the party culture. And I know I ran parties and hosted for parties, and I've seen the whole culture develop because people in quote unquote street organizations or what they dub as gangs, they love to enjoy themselves. Even when you watch the movie The Gangs of New York with Leonardo DiCaprio, when they said how gangs were started over here in the Americas, they love to enjoy themselves. They love the women love the men, they love to do whatever you do. So when you're a club owner or a club manager or a person that ran the clubs for many years, like myself and many others that I've worked with, you see the culture develop inside those places. You know who was who and what was what and why this person was more, who got killed and what this woman liked to do and why she left with that guy. We seen it all. And then we had cameras and seen it all. So it is what it is. But again, getting back to the point, those out there that do not take time to understand your seasons and your cycle, which numerology reveals, then you'll go against your seasons and cycles and go down the obstructive road instead of keeping it constructive. There's times when you fall short, yes, but even in your falling short, you're supposed to learn from that time that you took while you was going through the falling. Because like they used to say, the song is, we fall down and we get up. Yes, we gonna fall down. But a saint is just a sinner that fell down. but he got up. So everybody that claims to be a saint have their sins. I want you to study the history of Mother Teresa. Study the history of some of the Dalai Lamas. Study the history of Gandhi. Study the history of Martin Luther King. All these people that they claim to be claim that they've afforded or given a sainthood to, they had their other side. Study the history of Wayne Dyer, the military side of these people, the other side. But those other side had to teach them something, teach them to be better and try to maintain the balance and weigh the good. The good had to outweigh the so-called evil, but the evil was necessary. Like Eddie Murphy said in Vampire in Brooklyn, evil is good. When he was imitating Al Sharpton, that was funny. But again, books like mine's, numbers are simple, people are complicated. Of course, I got recommended reading in the back, of course. Lloyd Strayhorn's book, Brother Polite's book, Florence Campbell's books, Michael Brill's books, Harish Jahari's books, Jerry Bonner's books, Helen Hitchcock's books, very Shiro's books, very good books to help give you. I give you an introductory from my developing understanding because believe me, those who started doing numerology from me from the beginning, if they did more sessions with me all the time, they'll see that I have excelled. That's why I was able to create my own Numerovation. Whether you did it while you was in England or Africa, wherever you did it, those who did it with me know that I've excelled. And it's important that you do excel and that you do understand. So in numerology, there is a thing where they call the personal months and the personal days and the personal years. And how you find out a lot of these different things, which I've said in many of my other videos and various other videos about your personal year, that personal year cycle is just revealing the possibilities of the higher and the possibilities of the lower if you are operating between those frequencies and those energies. So, as I'm in a personal year number 6, being that my birthday is February the 1st, so the 2 plus the 1, because February is the second month, and then I'm on the 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So I would add the 3 to the 2019, which also adds up to a 12, which is a 3. And some of us might add the 3 straight to the 12. So you count off 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm in a 15/6 year cycle. 15/6 year cycle, where in the according to some numerologists, you find that between the 4-year cycle and between the 8-year cycle, or between the 4 and the 7-year cycle, that would be the crossroads of my life, because there's a cross being made. There's decisions that had to be made. In the 4-year, I had to get my life together, stay communication orientated, stay on top of a structured path. In the 5-year, it was more of my travel. That's why a lot of you see me on Instagram traveling and all over the place and doing my thing. In my 5-year, I was in Arizona, I was in LA, I was in Las Vegas. In my 5-year, in my 6-year travel, in my 6-year, I'm in more learning to balance myself out, learning to love me so I can love others better. And Dr. Melanie, this beautiful sister, a beautiful sister that's with Dr. Africa, she said something key to me the other day from the heart. And she said, Simon, you have to forgive and heal from my past traumas. That's why I posted on my Instagram, yes, I have trust issues, but I am healing. I admit that I have trust issues, because when you grow up, in my time of growing up here in America, growing up in New York, because my parents are from the Caribbean, Cuba, Jamaica, majority of Jamaicans. Big up to all Jamaicans, all Cubans. So we call ourselves Afro-Cuban Jamaicans or Afro-Jamaican Cubans, whatever. So in my sojourn here in North America, with a family that came over here for a quote-unquote better life, they worked so hard or they was doing so much that they didn't have time to always take care of me and or my sister at that time. But like my mother said to me, that I got the blunt of it because they were hands on. They didn't know how to take care of a child. They didn't know how to take care of me. They didn't know how to take care of me because it was probably easier for them to deal with my sister, but it was much more hard. And my mother expressed that to me, that I got the blunt of a lot of the drama because they were hands on, still learning how to. And I remember Phil Valentine, and which is so ironic because Dr. Melanie and Dr. Phil Valentine are born under similar numbers, but their primary number is 16. So they're very analytical and they're very analyzing of things, even when you're not knowing they're analyzing you. So Phil used to say, children come through to teach us how to become parents because we need to learn that. And what's so interesting that he said that, because then I realized that, hey, that's what I came through to teach them something. I came through to teach my mother something. Like my children came through. My first son came through so he could teach me something, but I never stayed around long enough because of what I experienced with my own father, not staying long enough to get that experience from him. So cycles continue. And we have to understand the times, and we must be in. And that's why I have dubbed this, you gotta analyze, you gotta know, you gotta recognize and work with time and don't waste it. Gotta recognize, not to don't waste time. Work with time and don't waste it. Work with time and don't waste it. I'm just putting that down in my boards. And don't waste it. Don't waste it. Now, and people might say, what is working with time and what is wasting time? Like if you know you have a deadline to do, if you know you have a deadline to do, and you just automatically just slack off, especially if it's for your own job or for your own business, and you just slack off, that's wasting time in a minute level. But if you come to me for a Numerovation session to get to get to get some type of guidance, so you could take you to the next level, so you can understand those cycles and seasons that you're in and what you need to do. After I've told you in the session what you need to do, and you don't jump on it, then that you'll be wasting time. Because one thing about cycles, it'll come back. And if you didn't do what you had to do 10 years ago when I did the session to you, this is a session for you. And then 10 years later, you come back and you're still at the same position. That means you wasted a little time. If you didn't develop or grow or manifest anything within 10 years, then you wasted time, because each cycle is supposed to take you to this next cycle, next higher level, so you can keep on expanding and growing out. Because that's why I always say that numerology and astrology isn't the is all or be all. These are the portals to help guide you to be a higher self, so you can keep on coming out of being under its control. Because it doesn't control you, it guides you. And it guides you to be your best if you accept the guidance. Some of you accept the guidance of a GPS, and y'all still might know the way. Some of us know the way and we'll still put on a GPS. Some of us know the way and we'll still put on a GPS because we become dependent on a lot of these external things instead of remembering the internal things. In my session, I'm here to help you remember. You remember the old movie Total Recall? Recall, recall, recall. So the numbers that you're born with and what you came through and signed that contract to come through with, the astrology sign that you signed that contract to come through with, is to help you recall your steps. Remember, 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 recall, recall, recall. And then once you learn to recall, then you will enhance yourself and take yourself to the next level. And then you don't really need that much of the guidance anymore unless you need confirmation. Because, yes, we still have a little fear. Yes, we're still a little reluctant. Yes, we don't want to mess up sometimes. Totally get it. I suffer from that. Like many of you out there suffer from it. But remember, working with time in this realm and not wasting it is the difference between you excelling in your highest and wisest or you falling to your lowest. Because, like I said, and like I'm really focusing on my new book with Numerovation and depression, construction, obstruction, destruction. Three levels of this in this realm. Either you can live on a constructive mindset and mind level and stay constructive, or either you could fall down and be obstructive to your own growth and your own development. And if you stay on that obstructive level, then you become destructive. And I know many of us don't want to be destructive. Even the worst person doesn't want to be destructive, but some of us have been traumatized. And sometimes you have to work with the time that you have to heal yourself or help you to be better. But don't waste the time that you have. Don't run away from it. Like many motivational speakers will say, it may be fearful of what you're doing, what you want to attempt, because there's always turbulence. But again, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. And the only thing you got to fear is fear itself. That's why people always say fear is the acronym for means false expectation of appearing real. False expectation of fear real. Yes, they appear real, but you have by you not wasting time and you working with time, that's when you start destroying the illusion of the fear and start accomplishing the goals. Think about the first time and you know what? I always tell a lot of the people that have done sessions, if I feel my energy to say it, I will say, hey, think about the times that you've done things that you was afraid and when you overcame that fear. From the little small things. Some people was afraid to tie their own shoe for the first place. Some people was afraid to take that first step. Some people was afraid to drink their own drink or put on their own dress and do the little things. Some people was afraid to walk into that school or walk into that office to go get that job. But when they overcome that first initial stress of fear and then they get hired, it's a beautiful thing. And even if they don't hire you, maybe, and I heard, who said this? I was listening to someone that said, if you do, Marlon Wayans, he's a Leo born July 23rd. He's a Leo energy, right there, cusping Leo energy, that number 5 energy. So Marlon Wayans said, even if you don't get that job, it's an opportunity. He thinks optimistic, and I like that because that's the 5 energy. 5 and 3s are supposed to think optimistic like that. And in numerology 23, that's like the royal star. That's that they gotta stay on top of their game. It's not to say they just have to protect themselves from of addiction and all the kind of foolishness. And he'll tell you he went through the foolishness. He went through the sex addiction and all that because he loves women. He loves to do his thing. I got it. But he said, Marlon Wayne said, and I was listening to him on Nick Cannon's show, Nick Cannon's interview, and Marlon Wayans said, sometimes when you don't get that job, it's actually building you for what you're supposed to become. Whether you're supposed to be a boss, and what's so funny, Nick Cannon replied like, "Yo, boom, you can't fire a boss." So you might you could be a master, you could be a master builder, you could be a master number, you could be a boss in your own right, and you did acting like a peasant. You're supposed to be a eagle, and you acting like a pigeon. You are supposed to be an eagle, and you hanging around with pigeons, or you acting like a pigeon going to get the little scraps from the floor, going to get when you're supposed to be soaring like an eagle. Eagles don't hang out with pigeons. So when Nick Cannon said you can't fire a boss, because he said he tried. Nick Cannon said he tried to get the job with in Living Color or one of those shows at one time with the Wayans and all that kind of stuff, but he was denied. He was refused. Even Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence was refused working with in Living Color, and yo, look what happened to Martin Lawrence. He got Martin. Hey, the, the everything works in unison. It's a synchronicity, but he didn't waste his time. He didn't give up. He kept on going. Nick Cannon didn't give up. They kept on going. The Wayans brothers and the Wayans family didn't give up. They kept on going. And there's 9 of them. I got 9 children, so I understand there's 9 of them, but the mother and father had the 9. I have 9 children from different beautiful women. But I'm just saying that they didn't waste time. They worked with time. They were synced in the right time to do what they had to do. And even when the failures came, when the obstructive individuals said, hey, you can't get this job, they still stayed constructive and moved forward. Nick Cannon, I understood when he said, boss, don't get fired. And he's a number 8. He born October the 8th, which is the entrepreneur, that is the executive. And the things that he's doing in the field of media right now, owning certain things, owning his own show, 200 episodes in, doing his thing, that's an entrepreneur. He's gone to another level. He born the same day as Pascal Beverly Randolph or Rudolph. Beverly Randolph, who was the first Afro-American metaphysics teacher. Get his books on sexual magic. So I understood when he said that to Marlon, why he said that, because automatically as a number 8, it just popped right to him. At the number 8 frequency, it popped right to him. And Marlon, to think the way he thought, being under the number 5 frequency, that popped into his head to use that. So it's important that you study, that you learn, that you get guidance. If you're not able to guide yourself at this time, it's all right to come to people like me. It's all right to go to astrologers or cosmophysics physicians. Or it's all right to go to tarot readers. It's all right. Don't let people hinder your growth because of their fears. I'll say that again. Don't let people hinder your growth because of their fears, whether it's fear from a religious aspect or some other spiritual system, or just fear that they was taught by their parents because of the trauma and drama they went through. Don't let other people hinder your growth because of other people's fears. Because like I said, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Everything. And I'm learning that. I'm constantly learning that. We got to take risk. And Robert Kiyosaki said that. And Robert Kiyosaki is one of them. He'll tell you he wasn't the greatest writer, but he knew how to make money. And he knows how to deal with assets. And he knows what a liability is. And he knows how to make investments. He knows how to make money and galvanize money. And he knew how to also understand assets and how to use them. He's born April 8th, another entrepreneur number. So those 8s be popping up. Dr. Sabi was an 8. Dr. York is an 8. Uh, uh, um, I said Nick Cannon is an 8. Tina Turner is an 8. These are 8 people, entrepreneur, regardless of what you feel and how you feel about them. That number 8 frequency, and even people born in the 8th month, if they use that frequency to the highest and they use that vibration to the highest, man, there's so many things you could accomplish. But it comes with discipline. It comes with order. It comes with understanding. 8 comes with the understanding of the balance of the material and the spiritual world and learning to balance it out. So, I'm going to be teaching classes. I'm going to actually produce 10 classes dealing with 10 different subjects. And you can order them, and I will send you the link after you pay. I will be producing that probably all of September. I'll be producing those classes instead of me doing it live for you, because I'm doing a lot of travel movement and producing. I got other things to do, but I have time to produce our 1-hour segments of how to use the numbers connected to your birthday and connected to your name, because even each letter transposes to a number, and each letter means something. Let me for instance, and I'll be coming out of books that I'll show you. I'll show you books like this by Kevin Quinn Avery. I'll show you books like this, The Beginner's Guide for Divination. Of course, my book. Get my book. That's definitely get Lloyd's book. And like I said, very few numerologists put other numerologists in their book. Very few. Some are honorable and they know that, hey, they don't own the information. That nobody owns information. Nobody owns all the knowledge in the world. That's why I got recommended reading in the book. Not gonna front like I got it from outer space somewhere, or something just came to me. There are downloads. We are intuitive. We can download information, new information, even if you say nothing is new under the sun. Okay. But there's something new beyond the sun. And it's time to either astral travel and development. That's why I tell people, y'all, go take Panic's class. Go take Sister Khadijah's class. Go take Ra'aku's class. Go take A.A. Rashid's class. Go take Katira No's class. Go take and learn or get a consultation from people like Sister Asma, or get a consultation from people like Neat or Queen of Four or Dr. Africa or Melody. Go get those consultation on anything you want to learn, because we're here to serve. And we're here to help you be your best. There's enough finance to go around for everybody, whether you want to be part of this and turn this into your life business, or whether you don't. It's totally up to you, because everything is in your hands. These palms say it all. That's why great palm readers like Shiro was able to do all kinds of things as a palm reader and a numerologist. Lloyd is studying Shiro. There's great Khalees, Kelsey, whatever her name is, Sister Kelsey or Khalees. She is a great palm reader. You can learn how to do it if it exists in your family. If you find yourself gravitating to metaphysics and these type of things with Phil Valentine, Bobby Hammond, myself, whoever, if you find yourself gravitating, then you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to learn it to some capacity and help yourself at least begin with you, and then start studying the others around you, like your family, or why your mama left, or why your daddy wasn't there, why your grandmama was this way, or why your granddaddy was that way. It is what it is. But learn and be your best, family. I'm not going to be here too long. It's now 42 minutes in. Once again, please share this video with somebody that might need it. Work with time and don't waste it. Work with it. Don't waste it. I'm not talking about when you take time to rest your body or take time to take a sabbatical. That's not wasting time, because our body needs to be rejuvenated. We need to meditate. We need to, sometimes some of us need to go near water. Sometimes some of us need to be in front of fire. Sometimes some of us need to be buried in the earth and go through those ceremonies. You need it. Sometimes some of us need to go to the Caribbean. It's all right. You can do that. It's all right. And if you can't leave the country, go somewhere else where it's warm, like I did. Go travel somewhere else. Go on bus rides. Go on plane rides. Go on train rides. Take time. Don't waste time. Work with time. Don't waste time. Take time for yourself, because the body constantly needs to heal. It heals itself. It heals. They say that. This beautiful couple says it. Dr. Sabi used to say it. Queen of Four said it. Phil Valentine said it. All the naturopath and naturopathic healers out there say the body heals itself. Herbs just help to make the environment better for it to heal itself. But it's the healer. You are the healer. You are the savior of yourself. Stop playing. Like I said, share this. And if you do want to do a numerovation session with me, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347 496 1022. That's 347 496 1022. I have a special advertisement rate that I've been running for a couple years. It's going to go up, of course, eventually it should. Like anything else, you don't want to work at a job and you never get a raise. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do a business and you never excel in your business. But what you have been contributing, whether you did it by Cash App, and my Cash App is down, so don't even think about it. PayPal, numbers are simple numbers. the letter R, simple, or King Simon Productions. Either King Simon Productions with the S, King Simon Productions with the S at gmail.com. That's PayPal. You can make a PayPal donation. If this meant anything to you in any way, please make that donation if you can. If you can, it's all right, because this is about giving away the information. And I'm not long and drawn out. I'm not going to do 6 hours and 3 hours of information. It's not all about that, because our attention span is kind of slow. It's kind of limited nowadays. We want things quick. So, family, I love and respect you. Remember, if you want to do a numerovation session with me, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. I do children, I do family, I do young adults if they're ready and they're receptive. Don't just throw your young child. They got to be receptive. Show them a few of my videos. Show them a few numerology stuff. If they're receptive, they open, let's do it. But my grandfather used to say the head was here before the gray hair. The head was here before the gray hair. That means his head. He'd been through life first before all this hair and that gray hair grew on his head. That's what he was always saying. I didn't understand it when I was younger, but when I said, okay, got it. When I got it, I got it. So if you want to do a class with me, or you want to get those classes, they will be available September, October. More likely they're going to be available in October or November. There will be raw classes like this with either a chalkboard, or I'll be explaining it and you take out your pen and pad and do what you got to do and learn. So I will be teaching Numerovation, and I will be developing the links and make sure that everybody get that link to those 10 classes, and that those 10 classes will be at a certain price. And that just helps to serve me to keep on producing applicable events, producing applicable workshops, and continue to bring good content. It may not be all fancy with a lot of editing tools and all that, but I try to keep it nice and simple. Believe me, I'm about that KISS theory. Keep it simple. And then Kim theory. Keep it moving. After I keep it simple, I'm going to keep it moving, because I got things to do as I'm in my 50 years and growing and blooming to be the very best in my 50th years. I'm 52 now, feeling good, and 5 plus 2 is 7, so I'm feeling like a 7-year-old with candy. I even had I had almond milk and vegan cookies this morning, just to bring me back to my mindset of when I was a child and they used to give me chocolate chips. I had vegan chocolate chips and almond milk this morning to just bring me back to that loving mindset of when my parents used to be there, or when my grandmother used to give me certain things. Because when my parents wasn't there, my grandmother had to do it. Bless that woman. May she rest in eternal peace and work and surround me and work with me. And may your ancestors guide you. Acknowledge your ancestors and they will guide you. Believe me, acknowledge, because you're looking at a person that almost took his life 3 times. Acknowledge your ancestors and they will guide you and surround you. Out of here. I love you. Remember, Instagram, King Simon Productions. Instagram, Numeroversity. Facebook, King Simon Productions. That's a public page. King Simon Productions is a public page on Facebook. You might not be able to join my King Simon page because that's filled up, but you can join my MC Simon page, MC Simon. And also, if you just Google up King Simon, you got my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That gives you my bio, guides you to products, DVDs that if you want to buy a DVD, I know people are not using DVDs nowadays, but if you want to buy DVDs, I have all those DVDs that's on my list, old vintage stuff. You just pick out the names on the products. My t-shirts are on sale. Go to kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com/products. You get all my merch. I got the Numerovation merch and all that kind of stuff where you'll see numbers and you can pick your own numbers. If you want a new one design, you let me know. Or you can get my books. I got 3 books right now, working on my 4th one. Before I leave this planet, I will be doing 10 books. My 10th book, after my 10th book, I'm gone. I ain't got nothing else to do. I got nothing else to say after that. After my 10th book, I'm gone, because 1 is my number and I've completed my cycle. I need to go. I got things to do. My son said, I hope you ain't writing these books too fast. That's a Pisces. He's loving. His energy. He's just something else. No other son said that to me, but he said it. He's a number 9. So 9 is that loving energy on one side, but can be that forceful, crazy energy on the other. Again, do a session with me. If you're going to do a compatibility session, let me talk to all you couples real quick. If you're going to do a compatibility session, I need you and that person that you're considering to be on the line together. I'm not doing any compatibility sessions and you're trying to find out if you should be with that person when you already took that leap to be with that person. Because if that person is in your life, there's a reason why he or she is in your life, and the numbers will tell me. And the numbers will tell me the challenges and the strengths of each couple to help get them to get to that next level, because I don't believe that no one can get along with each other. I just believe that this little one are a little more stressful than the other. And all you have to do is learn to communicate and work and be like yin and yang, because look, fire, earth, water, all these things work together, and air, all of them work together in this earth. So yeah, they can work together. It's just some are just a little bit more challenging, especially in this realm, especially in the human existence. So, children, I love doing children. So, if you have children younger than 17, usually I do it at least 2 of them. If you have too many children, like I can't do all unless you pay for that or send a donation for that. But if they're younger and you just want some information about how to look out for them and protect them and, recognize who might be prone to attracting molestation or who might be prone to being lazy and all that, then we can do that for your children for free. But you have to at least do an hour numerology session where it will be recorded, a numerovation session where it will be recorded. I just did a recent young lady, I think born on the 19th. Man, she was so intrigued. She was just turned 18. I love that. I love her. And I talk to her like I would talk to my own daughter if my daughters would listen. And sometimes your children won't listen. Sometimes your family won't listen, and it's all right. What is the old saying? Sometimes a prophet is not honored in their own house or their own country or their own nation. Sometimes a prophet is not honored. Don't get spooky with it. If they're not, they gotta see, show and prove. You gotta show and prove, man. So it is what it is. I love and respect you. Once again, hit me up on all social medias. Please share this. And please go to my website for any bios or information you want about me. Believe me, I'm an open book. I've told my life, and please click on the bell and save and get the notification for the next. Because I don't come up here every day and every other. I come up here when I need to come up here, when I feel the energy to come. And I'm at Dr. Africa and his wife's house right now, just chilling, just relaxing, downloading, meditating, and doing what they're doing, because that's what they do. They're real deal. They really about their stuff. I see the certificates. I know the licenses. I know who they are. I know what their doctors at and what they're not. You know what I'm saying? So people can't tell me nothing. You even can't talk bad about this couple. You may disagree with certain their methods, but that's all right. We're not all supposed to agree with each other. It's all right. But them two, I love them and I will kill for them as well as die for them. But I will kill first because they have been beautiful, beautiful people. We have to protect our elders. We have to protect our griots and our gurus in our community. That's the problem now. We're not protecting our elders, and they're just, some of them are dying broke and all that. This ain't gonna happen to them. It ain't happening. I know that. And if whatever transpires, I'm always going to work with them. Always going to work with them. You're never going to see me not work with them. They have been the very best of people to me, better than some of my own family members, some of my own quote unquote friends. They've been the best members to me. Oh, they got dominoes here. You know, in Dr. Africa's new book, he got the whole metaphysics of dominoes in the book, which is interesting. It's in his new book, the African Holistic Textbook. Because back in the day, the gypsies, which is the Egyptsies, were the ones that used to use dominoes to be able to read people back in the day. There's a history behind that. I have an old book on this, dominoes, and using dominoes to be able to read people, using dice and knowing how to read people, using playing cards and knowing how to read people. These are energy methodologies that can be used efficiently and help you as an individual. So, like my sister Maximus, Aquarius Maximus, was born on the 16th. Deep, deep. She does cardology. You gotta respect it. People that do pendulums, scrying, all that stuff. You gotta respect them. All right. So, like I said, this was work with time and don't waste it. Even if you think time is an illusion, hey, understand the illusion, because still life is but a dream, but you still got to be merry in it. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening whenever you're listening to this. And thank you very much for tuning in. From all over my heart, I love and respect you. King Simon is out. Peace. Life